very first episode of the AGSM Career Catalyst. I'm your host, Semaria, and the Director of Professional Development. We're kicking things off at a pivotal time of the year. To our final year students and our first year graduates, welcome back. We know the pressure is on you as you hunt for those crucial summer internships and solidify your post-grad plans. So we're here to bridge the gap between the classroom and the boardroom by bringing you real stories and also expert advice. So now, speaking of experts, we're going to introduce you to someone who speaks the language of the School of Business. They live and breathe the student achievement, and she is our Director of Student Success, a mentor to our professional clubs, and our primary link to employer relations. Please welcome Lori Babigian.
Thank you, and so pleased to see this initiative getting launched. And thank you so much, Semaria, for your leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. So today we're going to go over a few different topics with Lori, but I want to get started about the career journey of a lot of the student body is currently going through, including looking for opportunities for full-time roles as well as internships. And we know that you have a bird eye view of the entire student body from your office in the School of Business Building 311. What is the most common aha moment that you see students have when they realize what it actually takes to get hired in 2026?
So I would say, yes, we have the bird's eye view, particularly for those who really engage with us. So I think that's one of the key themes that I would certainly continue to encourage your fellow students to really take advantage of all of the services that we offer. It's rather unique the way that we've been set up and that we offer personalized career coaching and advising. We work all year round, but we can't help the students that we don't know need the help unless they kind of present their needs, towards us. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know already. It's a pretty challenging job market overall in industry today. Certainly, AI has made a significant impact. We're all hearing of, various layoffs and organizations that may be pausing. But one thing that I really want our students to know is it's still an excellent job market for early career talent. For those students who really show up and put in the work, heed the advice and the coaching, not necessarily do the spray and pray, very generic approach to applying to everything, but really, being very strategic in terms of, how they present themselves and how they develop really their own marketing strategy, for their job search. You may be surprised to learn this is really the best time in your entire professional life because organizations view the university pipeline as being really the number one preferred talent acquisition method because they have the chance to connect with you as a student. They can see how you are preparing yourself professionally, what you are dedicating yourself to while you're here as a student, the choices that you're making, the leadership roles that you take on, the experiential learning and other projects that you seek out. So, I remain very optimistic and want, you and your classmates to remain optimistic too.
You have had a very illustrious career in student advising, and we know that recently you've been reimagining how to deliver career services here. Can you tell us a little bit about the support you've received from the administration for these new initiatives like 1220 or Career Economics and MBA Exchange?
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the things that excites me most about the School of Business in that, yes, we have reimagined the services that we're delivering to our students. We've been able to restructure our team so that our advising services are very much focused on, the specific programs that we're very pleased to offer here, all 5, if you will, with dedicated academic advising as well as career advising as well, yes. We've also implemented 1220, which is really the standard graduate business career recruiting platform, enabling us to connect with over 15,000 employers that have a demonstrated interest in history and hiring at the graduate level across all of the U.S. and international top business schools. So we're really at our students' fingertips, providing them access to a significant array of employment opportunities that we were unable to do so previously.
I really do want to also give huge props to your team, because I logged into my 1220 this morning hoping to find some information from the library about Hiration, a new platform that I've heard that I believe that we've partnered with, right?
Yes.
So
I can tell you a little bit more about
Please,
Hiration.
yes.
So
Go ahead.
Hiration, we've been wanting to have an enterprise AI enabled career resource to assist our students. I mean, we all are using Gemini and ChatGPT, but doing so in the public domain, if you will, doesn't allow us to really protect our own individual identities and our personal information. Plus, when you're using some of these freemiums or tools in the public domain, you don't know what's going to happen to that information and who they're going to share it with. So the enterprise package with Hiration took us some time to vet different vendors to get the appropriate approvals from not only the School of Business, but the UC Riverside IT community. And we just launched it last week on Wednesday, April the 1st. And so it offers a couple of things, but at this time of the year, it can definitely be a useful resource available 24/7 for our students to help you prepare for interviews, right? So many of the initial interviews are definitely being done virtually.
That's right.
And even many of the recruitment processes may be done fully, virtually. So to have an AI-assisted interview tool that can give you real-time feedback on areas of where you can improve, to practice mock interviewing, sharing that with your career coach for some additional guidance, even before coming into the office and doing a mock interview in person with us. Beyond the interview tools, of course, the opportunity to help our students refine and get some AI prompts on how to improve their resumes, their bullet points, their summaries, cover letters, development, and then also your LinkedIn, brand online.
Yeah, I was really excited to find that I can actually sign up for it using my UCR email address, and then I no longer have to be charged for anything.
Correct.
And this yesterday I had a conversation with my mentor who said that being interviewed is actually a skill. So I looked into Hiration because I remember Tim mentioned it, and it's free, available for the student body here at UCR's School of Business. So we really do want to thank you for that, and I'm excited to use it.
Yeah, and what we're doing here is we're in our reimagining process, we're setting the foundation for those that will follow you and all of you, right? And so each quarter, each academic year, we really want to continue to provide best in class, very relevant resources to assist our students. But the good news is the tools like 1220 that we've implemented this year that I mentioned, MBA Exchange in Careeronomics, which is a fantastic additional, not only fantastic research tool to help you identify past hiring practices and geographic information with companies if you're interested in an international career opportunity. And then Hiration, we will be offering these to our students as you matriculate and become part of our fantastic Highlander alumni community.
Right.
So we are wanting and desiring the services that you have while a student, much of which can remain with you as you make that transition into an alum.
Wonderful, really exciting. I want to kind of deep dive into the resources we also have here on campus and the strategy that comes with using that. So for a student who feels like they are a small fish in this huge big pond, what are the top resources that AGSM and the School of Business would offer to help them craft an effective job search strategy that would stand out in front of recruiters?
Well, I think that always our silver bullet is our Highlander community, right? And that includes your classmates, alumni, and other alumni and professionals that are surrounding our university. And we try to provide many opportunities to invite them to come and engage with our students in person. Those that come and engage are here and very much committed for your and all of our students, future benefit as well. They wouldn't be coming if they weren't interested in genuinely wanting to assist where they can. They may not be able to assist every student, but they're coming very intentionally. So we would always encourage and look forward to any opportunities that we can host an alum or a professional who wants to meet and engage with our students in person. Yes. As I mentioned, I think 1220 has definitely been a game changer for us in that now our students have greater access at their fingertips, and then that's also reciprocal. We have employers now who can post and designate the 8 Gary Anderson School of Management for the events that they are hosting and also the jobs that they are posting, that it can directly come into your student feed. I think some other things that we've done, we know that every year there's a whole new wonderful crop of students that joins the programs, but we may not know their backgrounds initially as an applicant. And so we've developed the Professional Development Fund that renews each academic year. There is a stipend of $150 at least this academic year that our students can use with the approval of their advisor and career coach that will allow them to obtain additional skill building, attend conferences, seek out and earn different certifications that may well prepare them for their unique career objective.
That's wonderful. It's an excellent resource too, because there are students who are looking to get specific certifications based on their concentration. So this is a really good opportunity for a lot of students, especially because I'm also in the concentration of finance. So,
and I think one other exciting development, if I may share, is we're really looking forward. We know that recruiting starts very early. And in fact, just today I post an event that Bain is hosting next week for the upcoming academic year, if you will, recruiting cycle. And so we're trying to do more early on to offer to our incoming students so that they can be equipped and prepared for the early recruiting opportunities. And then many of these will also continue and be able to share with our current students and our soon-to-be graduates as well.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about how incoming students, whether they're master's or MBA students, should be preparing. Whether they're going into consulting or finance roles, how should they prepare themselves to land internships, full-time roles, or even to learn about the industry they're hoping to join?
Yeah, one of the things that we are intentionally going to be spending more time on this spring and then during the summer term is to offer more opportunities for career exploration and early career planning. As I mentioned earlier, no two students are ever the same. But what we do see is industry is continuing to invest very heavily into their internship programs. They see their internship program as their number one most positive method of talent acquisition because it gives them the opportunity to hire for the summer or a school year internship, the best of the best among graduate business talent. Try them, see them in action for 10 to 12 weeks on the job before they actually make that decision to bring them on board full time. And they do want to hire interns with the mindset to convert because they've already made that training investment in you, right? And we learned some very encouraging news through the National Association of College Educators last week that on average, organizations that do have this internship pipeline that they establish with their university partners, their employees hired through the internship program have a much longer tenure with that organization, over 5 years, versus other hiring methods outside of the internship program. So it has definitely financially been a proven winner. And we expect to see more organizations really sponsor, formalized internships. Now, that's not to say it's going to be easy to land one. It's competitive out there.
Sure.
So students need to show up. Incoming students for our fall programs, we're hoping we'll invest a fair amount of time and effort with our team even before fall quarter begins.
That's right. Yeah, we were also discussing about something called pre-MBA as well as early recruiting sessions and events that big consulting firms would be holding.
It's already started.
Right?
For the summer of 2027 internships, companies have already started reaching out. They want to develop a brand.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be able to help some of our career explorers or our career pivoters, right, kind of discern with good information.
Mm-hmm.
So that an applicant can really determine, is that the track? Is that something that is truly something that they hope to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
And so we are definitely right now, receiving those invitations. I just posted one from Bain today. That's happening on April the 15th. So you may ask, well, how are we getting this message out if you're not a current student to those that we've accepted,
Okay.
but have not yet joined their program? And the answer is we post on our admit portal on our website these pre-MBA events, pre-fall events.
Yeah.
We will also be shortly starting a bi-weekly newsletter that'll go out to our admitted students so that they can be aware and have the opportunity to participate. That is also inclusive of some preparation tools, including a 11-part interview casing preparation program that we've just secured a relationship with Mark Cosentino. Case in point,
Right.
I'm a big fan of Mark. He does a great job. And so there are 11 sessions beginning April the 20th, and they'll continue through July, preparing not only incoming students prepare for the rush of the fall internship recruiting, but it'll also be available to our current students. So maybe those who felt that they needed some reinforcement and further skill building. Our relationship and agreement includes our current students. So you'll be seeing it soon, posted to 1220 events. And then also our alumni as well. So again, we're really wanting to offer that longer term relationship and series of benefits, right, that you have obtained and will obtain having received your degree here at UC Riverside School of Business.
Wonderful. This is really exciting stuff. I think I also want to reminded me of some common questions both undergrads and grads would be asking. So this is around networking with alumni or other guests that we might have at the School of Business. They might ask, how do I network if I don't have experience yet? How does your office help with building that confidence?
Well, let's just say we were all students with no experience, right?
Yes.
My experience
Right
was
here.
food service. I ran a mean register at our local steakhouse, right? But what we try to do is work with students to help them understand those different tasks in any kind of job that you may have had in high school or as an undergraduate.
Right.
How do you translate those tasks, the things that you deliver, the things that you do, into sort of actionable,
Transferable.
exactly, skills,
Gotcha.
right? And by the way, companies, when they are recruiting university talent, they know that you don't have a whole lot of professional work experience. What they really want to know is, why are you in school? And how did you make that decision? What are you doing while you're here to get yourself prepared? And a lot of times students don't know what it is, and that's okay. But if they're making some decisions strategically and intentionally, that seems as though that they're driven and they're motivated towards a goal, that's the kind of behaviors, that's the kind of work ethic, that's the kind of passion that we all want to bring on board in our workforces, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not as much about the experience, but it's why you're here. What are you doing while you're here? Why are you interested in talking with them and learning more about their background, their journey, their company, and being inquisitive. Those are the things that really make a student stand out,
Mhm.
in an informational and a networking environment. And I think really evoke from our guests a real desire to help
Mhm.
and to stay connected where they can.
Excellent points. I think initially during my first year of me pursuing my PMBA, there were a lot of networking opportunities here at UCR, especially with the School of Business, different types of events. And I've always asked myself, how do I network effectively? So what type of relationship should I build to get some type of help? But I know that that's not the best path to think about this relationship that trying to build with this person who could possibly help, but it could also be a good professional mentorship type of friendship. So what is your advice when it comes to what people should expect from networking, or even how to actually effectively network?
So I would say this, it is about, I think people want authenticity, genuineness,
Right.
nothing fake,
Mhm.
right? And people love talking about themselves. So
There we
just
go. Right.
showing general interest in the individual that you're connecting with, they're really complimented, and they're going to
Absolutely.
try to see if there are some learnings that they can share that will benefit you. I think they can help, and they would like to know more about what it is that you think they can help you with. Is there a professional association that you were a part of while you were a student that really felt was a positive use of your time and helped you on your journey? I'd love to know. Maybe I should seek out to see if my school has that type of, right?
I see.
So that's one angle. You can ask for what are the skills that you see are highly desired or valued in your organization, because that can affect the choices that I may make in my upcoming quarters of curriculum. That's another thing that's a very low ask, right? That can be very beneficial. If you're thinking about a particular functional role, let's say human resources, but maybe you're speaking to a financial analyst. You might say, I think my mission is in more the field of human resources and learning and development. Were there some classmates, or are there some professionals in your network that you think might be interesting and productive connections for me to seek out and obtain additional information? So it doesn't have to be about the job, but it's really about them, their journey, advice about skill building, organizations, clubs, certifications, and then also too, depending on how what are the things that they might discourage you of doing. There are some that I have met with who said, hey, when I came to campus, I joined every 5 clubs, but kind of realized that I drained my time and my energy, and maybe it wasn't as productive. And if I had to do it all over again, I might take a more narrow, focused, strategic approach to the things that I opt into while I'm a student. So you can kind of say, what were the things you would do again? Tell me what are the things that I wouldn't do again, right? Again, they are happy to share their experience for sure. Yeah. And then it's always, is there anything I can do to help you?
Right.
Yeah. You may be a financial analyst. I'm an HR geek. Are you looking for some mentoring opportunities with some of my classmates that are in the finance track? I'd love to be able to connect you. And they would love that. And by the way, your classmates would like that too.
Right.
We're all in this together.
I know. We want to do justice to every sector, and we have a little bit, I think, over 5 concentrations: financial services, marketing, accounting, analytics, and supply chain. When you're talking to employers across these industries, what is a universal language that you would say they want AGSM students to speak?
So when employers and recruiters are evaluating a graduate student, it is a little bit different than the undergrad. So for example, today I met with a student who told me that as an undergrad, They started out as a physics major and then were computer science and graduated from mathematics, right? And are now here securing their MBA. So I think employers at the undergraduate level have a little more temperament for a lot of exploring because you have 4 years. When you're in a graduate program, whether it's a year, 15 months, or 2 years, I think they really are looking for that intentionality of why you came to business school. And while you're here and during that period of time, what are you doing to prepare yourself? Organizations hire for a function. You need to come into my organization. There is a role that I need to have fulfilled. And so the more that you can articulate and craft your narrative, that you have bore that in mind, and the things that you've done, the choices in coursework, extracurricular activities, special projects, certifications, clubs that you've joined, professional associations that you may have joined. If it really looks like you have clarity of your goal, that really impresses a recruiter. It is risky for any organization to make a bad hire or a less than optimal hire, and it looks bad on the recruiter as well. So the recruiter has an important role to really present to the hiring manager, to the hiring team, a candidate slate that they can really take a look at and say, this individual is more likely than not to able to come in and has the qualifications to get that job done. And so again, I think that intentionality and focus and the strategy that I would encourage our graduate students to employ while they're here, I think is very, very meaningful and very beneficial.
Absolutely, I totally agree there. And what about for students who are at this point in the year and haven't seen any results that they wanted yet? What should their plan be or immediate next step be?
Well, let me just say this. And by the way, my functional area of expertise is marketing. And I learned this long ago. I'm not getting the results that my company is desiring. I need to change something up, right? So if you are not getting the results that you had hoped from your job search, you need to change something up. There is something that is not working effectively. And that's where we're here to help any student out, if they want to come in. But something needs to change, right? And you don't want to keep repeating that same cycle because you're not getting better. You're not getting the interviews. You're not improving your skill. You're not resonating with the market. The market isn't seeing your value proposition. So let's talk about that. I always feel so bad when a student, comes in and they're in the 22nd of their 24 months and we haven't met and they've expended hundreds of applications and tried every, freemium thing known to man and aren't getting the responses to their cold LinkedIn outreaches. Let's sit back, let's recalibrate, right? We don't want you to expend energy and time because those are very limiting factors. We want to help you refocus on things that can generate more high gain results for yourself. And then I would just say, those students that show up, that we have familiarity with in conversation, that give us a little bit of updates on how things are going along the way, we will proactively reach out and just say, hey, this kind of crossed my desk. Are you interested in this? I'm going to this product managers event in Orange County. Do you want to come along? It surprises me that even though I think we have successfully launched 1220, I don't know that we've done the best job that we can really encouraging our students to optimize their profiles. And then, by the way, last week I reached out to a student and just made some suggestions for their profile and they thanked me. And then another student said, well, I don't see in the list of functions the role that I'm actually seeking. And I was like, oh, this
Okay.
is great. I can go in and change the back end so
Right.
that now the AI capability does a better job matching and suggesting events, suggesting
Okay.
jobs to
Right.
students. So, we are just as receptive to your coaching and your ideas and your desires. So it's a two-way street. And I always say I'm learning and growing at this still many years later. And many times some of the best ideas do come from our students. And I'd love to see more of that. And I'd love to see more, student connectivity and ideas like the one you presented to me about a podcast and the need to acquire, some resources. To me, that made all the sense in the world. So hopefully others like you will be proactive and a bit more forthright in sharing some of those suggestions.
I'm glad to hear that. I honestly have really good team members as well as liaisons in the professional development department here in Student Association. So the idea is a group. It came from like a team effort, but I also kind of wanted to follow up on the things you were touching on right there, because I think a lot of students do underestimate the power of LinkedIn. I've seen a few first year students consistently posting not just them attending events or networking, but also just a few projects that they're working on. So what would be your advice for students who are not utilizing their LinkedIn to its fullest ability?
Well, I love my feed. I check it every day, as you know. Definitely follow the companies and the industries that you're interested in, the professional organizations.
Right.
Follow interesting people, other students. Gosh, I sure hope we're all connected.
I hope so.
If we're not, hit me up on LinkedIn,
That's
hit
right.
my entire team on LinkedIn. Because you see a lot of things that come through your feed, different events, opportunities, competitions, so many events available for students, no charge. I mean, I sign up. I love to attend because I come away with new learnings and new insights that help me better serve our students and advise as well. I think that your about statement is super important. I mean, that's kind of like your pitch in a very,
That's right.
consolidated way. I would include in that area hard skills, language proficiency,
Okay.
things that are keyword searchable, because if you have something that is very unique about you, that may be a unique skill that the companies have a hard time identifying appropriate candidates. So make sure you include that. We have some fantastic students that are trilingual. Oh my gosh, in a global marketplace, that is amazing.
Absolutely.
Make sure you use that space to craft your value proposition and what might distinguish you over others. And then, of course, the headline. I think as you are a grad student, maybe presenting yourself as the future career. Again, companies hire for function. If there's a specific organization that you're involved in, you might kind of include that in your headline as well. But this is the beauty as marketers where we can iterate. It's a digital platform. So change some things up and then see if you start getting more positive results,
test
right?
it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I totally agree there. Let's jump into the international perspective. So we have to acknowledge, of course, the current market, and it is undeniably tougher for international students right now, and as many organizations are incentivized to hire locally. So Lori, how should our international students remain receptive to these circumstances while still showing up to be their best selves for opportunities that is on campus, for opportunities that you guys provide on campus?
Yeah. I would say there is a fantastic built-in resource that is in the MBA Exchange and the Careernomics platform. So at your fingertips, and MBA Exchange, let me just say this, they tend to track the marketplace, the employment marketplace for MBA students that do have some work experience, let's say 3 to 5 years. So if there is a student that may not have that prior work experience, maybe the Careeronomics platform may be better for them.
Okay.
But these two platforms, they are sister platforms. They capture all of the hiring data from all of the employers all around the world, and then they remove the noise. So if you wanted to understand for a company or an industry, their recent incidents of hiring students on an F1 visa, or how many H1B visas have they sponsored, you can very easily, click and see how many and what percentage that are business roles versus engineering, right? And so I think one of the things that I might like to engage your team after this podcast project is maybe we might do some screen captures or some trainings, much like was done when you helped us launch 1220, so that our students can really see some of these tools in real time under the hood on MBA Exchange and also Careeronomics. I guess the other thing I would say is this, and I had a coaching appointment with one of your classmates yesterday who is a civil engineer and an international student. The U.S., I don't know, has enough civil engineers with extensive background in transportation, particularly our state. Think about all of the development and infrastructure renewal that the state of California is currently investing. And so I really was encouraging her and she was getting a lot of positive signs, even from government entities, Caltrans, the California State of Transportation, to apply for roles. And the question was, well, I'm not sure if they're a government agency, if they really will hire me as an international student. Well, you don't know what the U.S. candidate population may be that has your accreditations and also your interest in their agency in that role. So why would you pull yourself out of considerations, right? Yes, for sure. The U.S. is in cities and government, and the country is wanting to put U.S. educated workers into the workforce, but we may not have the right qualified people, and the employers in the end have that job to do, as I mentioned, their requirements, and in the end they really want to find the best person for the job. So how you present your value, does your resume really present you as being uniquely qualified for that particular role? Definitely apply.
Excellent point right there. I think it's fantastic that you also mentioned that the state of California is looking for a lot of students in this area, and also a lot of international companies are working on the LA Olympics 2028, like Hyundai, and there are lots of opportunities in that area. So excellent point.
And then if I can also say too is, our students, because you are completing a STEM certified degree, you are entitled to your full OPT and work here in the United States. So I will say, I think it is maybe not the right expectation for an international student to expect at the time that they're interviewed to be right away offered the sponsorship benefit after the OPT expires. And I say this because in the US, we're all hired as what they call employees at will. So very few are offered an employment contract, like with some guaranteed time and salary, etc. And they do that to mitigate risks, because in the end, they need to have some flexibility and they want to make sure they have the right people for the work. So I think if you're offered a fantastic opportunity that aligns with your goal in an industry and it builds your resume, but you're not sure, they're willing to take you, and you may be willing, you're hesitating, I'd say I would give it a go, because having that work experience will do nothing more then better preparing you for that next career opportunity after your first post-graduation goal.
Absolutely. I completely agree there. This is incredible. This has been an honor having you join me here for our first episode of the AGSM Career Catalyst podcast. I do have a few questions to ask you on a lightning round.
Okay.
So quick answers only.
Okay.
And then let's get started. So first question is, one must-join club for a student looking to lead, and when is the best window to join for recruiting?
So I wouldn't say the one best club that aligns with your functional goal post-graduation.
Okay.
That should be the one that you seek out.
Okay.
And I do know there are sometimes limited kind of leadership roles. You
Okay.
can go in as a key
That's
contributor
right.
and be able to own a project and execute a project, and that's what you'll put into your narrative when you're recruiting.
Excellent. Question number 2,
Mhm.
the most underrated spot in the School of Business Building.
The most underrated spot.
Yes. To
I-
study, could be to, for coffee or anything really.
Oh boy, I think you guys know all the best spots probably more. So it's hard for me to get off the third floor.
Fair enough.
But I do think I'm very proud of our grad lounge.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we have a kitchen and lockers and
Printers.
yeah. Exactly, a place for some fellowship and also quiet study.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that we have some games and it can just be a place for a fellowship. So I'd love to see more students take advantage of the grad lounge and to use it as well to build your community, because this is your tribe that will continue to support you long-term, post-graduation.
Wonderful. Okay. Last question. The best piece of career advice you have ever received?
I would say this. I think being a go-giver, they call it, or paying
Okay.
it forward. I think if you appear to have the confidence and the desire to help others in a meaningful way, it's just super amazing. I believe in the law of abundance and how things come back to you. But the close second would be you have to work. It's work the plan and plan the work. It should be managed as a project. You need to stick with it and do so expending your time and energy that is very focused on your goal and where you can present your best value.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, Lori, thank you for setting the bar so high.
Know about that.
This has been such an honor, and we really appreciate you joining us for our first episode.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we're here and I'm proud to represent our team and really look forward to having a great rest of the quarter. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.